Before we get started, I want to give some special recognition to our presenting sponsor today, Owensboro Health. We appreciate your being a strong person and a strong community and community supporter. We'd also like to thank our table supporters, Baptist Health Madisonville, Hancock Bank, Madisonville Community College, Hopkins County Attorney's Office, First United Bank and Trust, U.S. Bank, Edward Jones collectively, PAD and WKWIB, and McCoy. Without your help, this event would not be as nice as it is today and would not be possible. First up, I'd like to introduce Honorable Mayor Sewell. She is from Dawson Springs, and if you've never had an opportunity to talk with her, she never has a negative thing to say about anything in her community. It's all positive, and it's very infectious. You talk to her about what's going on, and there is no limit. And so I'm excited to hear what she has to say today.
Thank you, and Pastor Cardin, thank you again for making this wonderful facility available. It is absolutely beautiful, and in my absolute admiration to the Chamber for putting on such a wonderful luncheon. The facilities, the food is absolutely delicious, and something to be very grateful for, to have a wonderful facility where we all can meet in a country that will allow us to do so. The city of Dawson Springs and the Pinnaroll region surrounding Dawson Springs is quite unique. Our mile-wide city is bound to the north by I-69, surrounded by one of the 8 major rivers of Kentucky, the Tradewater River, bound to the south by the largest state forest in Kentucky, the Pinnaroll Forest, and by one of the 15 major lakes of Kentucky, Lake Bashir. Inside the 15,000-acre forest is the 1,000-acre Pinnaroll Forest Resort State Park that offers many outdoor recreational opportunities. Additionally, there are 2 wildlife management areas nearby, the Tradewater Wildlife Management Area and the Jones-Keeney Wildlife Management Area. The region is an outdoor wonderland. In 2008, a system of trails began to be developed in the forest. Consequently, over 50 miles of equine trails, over 30 miles of mountain biking trails, over 30 miles of hiking trails, and I do say that those numbers conservatively, exist today along with an equine campground, an equine day riding center with pavilion and restroom, and a mountain bike skills training area now being developed. Additionally, the bathing beach at the Pinnaroll Park has been restored. It is beautiful. And as many of us predicted, people appreciate and enjoy beautiful white and sand beaches. Actually, they spend thousands of dollars going every year to sand beaches, mostly to the south of us. But we've got a jewel of a sand beach at Pinnaroll. As a result of the added outdoor opportunities in this beautiful outdoor setting, the city of Dawson Springs was designated the first Kentucky Trail Town on May 9th, 2013. During 2014, the city of Dawson Springs hosted a major festival in April, a festival in May, 3 major festivals within a month in June and July that spanned between June and July. And this past weekend, the city witnessed a fitness challenge offering running, kayaking, and biking. I saw a fella that came up to me, said that he was involved with that and he finished. He said, believe me, it was really a challenge. So we had the fitness challenge offering running, kayaking, and biking, while the Pinneraw Park offered an end-of-the-summer beach bash with a 60th anniversary event packed with activities. And we have to look forward this month to the first annual Bluegrass Festival on Lake Bashir, being sponsored by the Knights of Columbus. As a result of these added outdoor venues and festivals, tourism traffic is much on the increase. The Pinneraw State Park reported revenues in June alone of $91,000 over that month year previous. And the months and weekends since then have also seen a drastic increase in business over those months and weekends in the past few years. Consequently, the Pinneraw Park Lake Cottages will receive new appliances this fall and new furnishings in 2015. Additionally, the park was packed this weekend. The beach, the campground, in spite of all the rain, and the lodge rooms and the cottages were packed. The city of Dawson Springs is experiencing an increase in restaurant and food sales, fuel sales, general goods sales, and convenience sales. Given the fact that during many weekends now the Pinneraw Park is filled, there are now opportunities for bed and breakfasts and additional shops that focus on trail town type items and services. Additionally, there are several buildings in our downtown that are available that were built just for tourism trade during our mineral water era. They're sitting there just ready for the opening. The city has realized some success in attracting business and industry back into our industrial park with Advanced Tabco. The spec building that was placed into a floodplain after it was built in 1999 was this spring removed from the floodplain after an engineering survey was conducted. Plans are being studied to best realize the building's potential. And given the fact that the building is on a prime piece of real estate with a tremendous amount of traffic on the corner of Highways 109 and 62 and located less than a mile from I-69, the building and industrial park has a tremendous potential for business in the future. There is a considerable effort being made toward housing in Dawson Springs. Due to the boundaries of our city, we know that we must rehab and keep viable much of our affordable housing stock that's in existence. Some of our public housing has seen tremendous upgrades, such as the total rehab of Glen Abbey. And as I speak, there's an advertisement in the Dawson Springs Progress for a code enforcement officer. A completely revised ordinance calls for a code enforcement board and will offer the city leverage in collecting back taxes and bills. The city is beginning to work with gap housing grants for those who own older homes that need rehab work to be completed. And a privately owned senior housing project is being built for those age 55 and over who, for various reasons, need to sell their home and live in an apartment-type style setting. We feel that this type of housing offers a service to many of our seniors, and such a facility will make available much-needed better housing in our city for our younger generation, as our older population might need to sell this housing. The parks in our city are much in demand. Riverside Park hosts Dawson Springs High School spring baseball and fall soccer for the boys and girls teams. Additionally, Riverside Park is utilized by the Tradewater Adult Baseball Association teams and 2 15 and under teams. The Tradewater Adult Baseball Association has former and existing collegiate players and younger men who love to play the game. They just love to play the game. And they come to us from Hopkins County, all of Hopkins County, Caldwell County, Trigg County, Union County, Christian County, and Webster County. The game attendance for these games is generally very good, in excess of 100 people. Riverside Park is in demand in the spring, summer, and fall months. There are many upgrades taking place in our Dawson Springs City Park, including the resurfacing of our tennis and basketball courts, and in the immediate future, the widening and repaving of the walking trail in the city park with installation of exercise equipment to be placed alongside the trail to offer a total exercise opportunity for our users. Immediately, we are planning to install new playground equipment next to our concession stand at the city park, and next year we plan to reconfigure and rehab the oldest baseball field in the city park that, when completed, will take some of the field practice and playing stress from Riverside Park. Additionally, during the spring flood season, this field will offer a home field for the Panther baseball program during times when Riverside Park floods, the field floods. Also, there has been much work in resurfacing many of our streets that were in most need. And we are so much in appreciation and cannot even imagine what the completion of the I-69 exchange will bring to our city. And we look so much forward to Highway 69 being widened in 2015 as it comes down to the center of our city. There have been many upgrades to our municipal building complex, and our airport has witnessed about $500,000 in renovation needs. Recently, the airport was highlighted in a focus on Kentucky airfields, where aviators were given points to land and take off from airfields in Kentucky. Our airport was selected by many because it's the only grass airfield in Kentucky, and many whose planes are appropriate to land in that field seek it out to land and take off to practice if there be an emergency situation, God forbid. So our field has been buzzed all summer long. In conclusion, there is change in the air in Dawson Springs. Our school has more students. Just a little, I couldn't help but think when Pastor was speaking, we have a new Methodist minister in our community, Brother Shuck. It's my understanding that he and his wife were offered either a church in Hopkinsville or the church in Dawson Springs, and they have four small children, and they selected the church in Dawson Springs because of our school. So our school is up in numbers of students. We have more jobs, and the city is experiencing some business growth. It is an exciting and encouraging time to live in Dawson Springs. With a lot of strategic planning, the anticipation of the completion of I-69, a lot of hard work, and good investment, perhaps, just perhaps, the golden years of Dawson Springs have not yet been truly realized. Thank you.
On behalf of the City of Madisonville, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out today and supporting our cities and our county as we come together to give a brief review of our accomplishments during the past year. I'd like to recognize Judge Donnie Carroll for all the great work that he does, and Mayor Jenny Sewell for all the great work that she does. It's a pleasure to get to work with them on a daily and weekly basis. I also like to thank Lee Lingo and Patricia Wiles with the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event today. And as we celebrate our accomplishments and we look forward to meeting the coming year's challenges together. Infrastructure. Sorry about that. Audio challenge. Infrastructure is the backbone of a well-developed community. And the city of Madisonville continues to invest in infrastructure. Those things that go in the ground we don't always see, or they're behind the scenes, but they make a big difference in our quality of life. And we've invested $861,000 in improvements in the last year to our wastewater treatment plant, $175,000 in improvements to the sanitation department. We bought several new sanitation trucks with the grabber arms. I know you've seen those. I love those. We call them one-armed bandits. It's good to see them out there working in the community. $400,000 in water projects to keep clean water flowing to our homes and businesses and our schools. Quality of life is important, not only to the city of Madisonville and the county, but as we aggressively work together to attract industry, it's important that we diligently work to improve the quality of life for all of our citizens. Madisonville has worked diligently with our fire, electric, police, transportation, water distribution, wastewater collection, code enforcement, and park systems. Each of these departments serve our city and not only create a living environment for our citizens, but they're also used as marketing tools for our existing businesses and industries as they recruit employees to come to their companies and as we recruit new businesses to come to our community. These departments are carefully examined as officials from outside the community look at them to decide whether to place a business in our community or not. In our fire department, so I want to give you a quick review of those. In our fire department, we paid $700,000 approximately for 2 new pumper trucks. And I was really pleased that we did that without having to borrow any money. As a matter of fact, we haven't made any new long-term debt in the last 4 years. We also just recently announced a $1 million grant we received for a new ladder truck to service the entire community. We'd also like to say goodbye to Chief Stoltz for the fine job that he's done for us for many years. But we'd also like to welcome our new fire chief, Greg Brescher. And Greg, stand up and let everybody see who you are there. The ice storm and the infrastructure that all that brought to bear to bring us out of that ice storm has really helped our electric department. We have one of the most reliable, redundant systems. We just finished burying new lines to the east side of Madisonville, which will greatly reduce outages there and help commercial development in that area. Our police department has been quite busy. They have a new dispatch center. They relocated that and a complete upgrade of the equipment to service the county and city efficiently. They've updated the vice and narc units, and they've made more than 800 drug-related arrests since their last report. They've seized over $225,000 in illegal drugs from the streets, confiscated $100,000 in drug money. Traffic safety targeting has resulted in collision reduction greater than 15%, allowing a reduction in insurance costs to us all. Uniformed law enforcement involvement with community and our youth with over 1,000 hours of service to include sports, school safety, and mentorship. They've completed over 200 hours of training with local businesses and nonprofits to increase workplace safety. And the city of Madisonville has been named by Movoto Real Estate Organization as the 8th safest city in Kentucky. So we ought to feel pretty good at night. Our transportation department has also been busy as cities all across the state have been difficult, have had difficulty keeping enough salt for the harsh winter that we had last winter. We have increased our salt inventory to better prepare for next year. We've also upgraded our city snow plows and V-Box capabilities. In the water department, we have completed our Montrose and Wesco upgrades, and we've begun work on the north side pressure zone. Those of you that live on the north side know that for many years we've kind of suffered with low water pressure. We're pleased to say that that project is underway and will be completed in the next couple of fiscal years. Wastewater collection, we've completed the Ebenezer Street lift station project, as well as numerous pipe bursting projects to keep the wastewater flowing in the right direction. Code enforcement was established in 2007, and since they established that department, the city or owner of the property has removed 248 vehicles, 476 structures. And in this one, we also say goodbye to Sue Jones and thank her for her many years of hard work for the city, but we welcome Tracy Logan into that position. Our park system has been a shining star for the community here in the last couple of years. Our city and county is gaining a great reputation as a community of parks. In addition to our active city park, we now have the spray park at Festus Claiborne Park, which appeared to be a big success. Daily, I like looking on Facebook and seeing the photos of all the kids playing on the spray park. As well, you may have seen the photos of Mayor Cox and Mike Franklin and Chuck Shockley and Darren Jordan being some of the first to enjoy the spray park. As a matter of fact, they enjoyed it so much they went out there in their suit clothes and enjoyed it. So that was pretty fun to see. We're actively working as a community to develop the Mar Park too. Mar Park is a 265-acre gym that this city has the opportunity to develop for the future. And we're excited to be partnering with groups such as Growing Warriors, which is an organization that helps returning veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder or traumatic brain injury. And it helps in their healing process by becoming involved in gardening programs. We also have a partnership, looking forward to a partnership with the Hopkins County Extension Service. And then there's other community organizations also are reaching out to us to have an active part in this park. This is truly going to be a community-wide effort to make this a great park for us. As far as fiscal matters go, we continue to focus on reducing long-term debt. During the last 4 years, we've paid down nearly $10 million in debt from $26.24 million in June 2010 to $16.28 million in June 2014. We continue to focus on economic development and to extend the welcome mat to any company, anyone that's interested in relocating here or developing a business here. 1 Million Cups, headed by Mark Lee, has been a great opportunity for the community to help entrepreneurs come together and learn from each other and to advance the entrepreneurial agenda here in Madisonville. Our leaders are developing also strong business supports in all areas to grow our current small businesses and to develop new ones. You know, when we have to look back, we're sad to see some of our historic businesses such as Goldenrod Dairy fall to consolidation of their branch offices. But we're very optimistic that the incentives that we have in place, the infrastructure that we have in place, the organization that we have in place are enough to attract new businesses. And we've seen some success in that area, such as Berry Plastics. Some of the other ones that we've seen is All Source Logistics. They invested about $150,000, creating 6 jobs. B&K Wood Products investing $1.5 million in creating 39 jobs. Belt Tech Industrial created 4 jobs. Berry Plastics, $96 million investment, creating 420 jobs. Conweld Industries, $1 million, creating 5 jobs. High-Tech Chrome Plating Expansion, $1.75 million, creating 12 new jobs. IAC, grown to approximately 300 employees. Integrated Metal Solutions, invested $1 to $2 million and 64 jobs saved. Land of Frost is continuing to grow and add new lines. And also the Clark Webstaurant store invested $3.3 million, creating 100 jobs. And to further support economic development and growth as a community, we're partnering with Madisonville Community College, and I'm very excited about this. Hopkins County Fiscal Court, KCTCS, Murray State University, and other community partners who are signing up to build a new post-secondary education building on MCC's campus to support the jobs of the future. It's been an honor to serve you for these last 4 years. I look forward to serving you for the next 4 years. And I'd like to thank my wife, Leanne, who's here today. Our children, Jordan and Chloe, for putting up with me all the time as we've gone through these last 4 years. And I'd also like to thank all of our department heads for the city of Madisonville. Their hard work throughout the year is what keeps Madisonville moving forward. And the City Hall staff, very committed to keeping this community running smoothly and efficiently. Our City Council, and could I have the City Council members that are here today stand up, please, so we could recognize you? These are some of the hardest working people in our community, and they do what they do for very little recognition, very little compensation, great big headaches, but they do it because they love Madisonville. They want Madisonville to be the best that they can be. And I'd like to extend my gratitude. Again, I think, Lee, this is a great thing having the other communities represented in this meeting here today because we're actually all one big community. And what is good for Dawson is good for Madisonville and vice versa, and what's good for the county is good for Madisonville. And it's important that we learn that we're all working together for common goals, to achieve a common purpose, to make this community the best that it can be. Everything in our daily life, the necessities and the infrastructure that we talked about, the beauty of our parks, the pastimes that we enjoy all come together to make a quality of life that we hope to continue to advance and improve over the next 4 years. Thank you.
Good afternoon. David wanted to swap papers. He said, you do mine and I'll do yours. And I told him, I said, you're going to have to blow yours up quite a bit because I can't see that small print. So anyway, good afternoon. Thank you for having us today. Thank the Chamber for hosting this. I want to thank Miss Mary DeFeeney for the delicious meal you enjoyed and the Methodist Church for their hospitality. One of the big things I think is we have to thank our state, county elected officials, also our city officials, when we all benefit from your experience, your expertise, and your support. Finally, I just thank the colleagues of the physical court and all county employees for your dedication. Would the member of the court that's here please stand, please? I know there's a couple of you here. Some of you won't get up. Today, September the 2nd, is a day in history that I look back on. And one of the things that I looked at was there's a gentleman who was born on September the 2nd, 1901, who some of you may be familiar with. His name was Adolph Rupp. And you may have heard of him. He had a little basketball team he fooled around with, and I think we've all become very proud of. One of the things that Vice President Theodore Roosevelt said on September 2nd, 1901 says, speak softly and carry a big stick. So sometimes Bishop Marion has to do that. He speaks softly and carries a big stick. Participate. Hello. One of the things I think is that Japan surrendered on the battleship Missouri in 1945. History is important to us. It tells us who we are as a people, where we've been, and can be a key factor in determining our future. I believe today's State of the County message should be, at its core, a report of our progress, our history, how we fulfilled our responsibility as county leaders and employees. Hopkins is a very stable county. We've not cut services, we've not raised taxes, and we have blessed with a stable employee base. We've maintained our excellent credit rating. Once again, the area of great concern is financial. Too many businesses are closed or struggling financially, and a record number of our residents have to have assistance in paying utilities, rent, and other necessities. A positive indication, though, since July of 2013, where the employment rate was 7.8%, in July of 2014 it was 6.9%. So those families that were affected, I know this was a great encouragement to them. Some announcements shared by Gerald Cook in Economic Development, as Mayor was saying, was under the new location of Advanced Tabco in Dawson Springs, and B&K Wood Products, their expansion at the KI building. The implementation and innovative Hopkins County Entrepreneurial Development Program. Also the small business loans jointly with our local banks. Participation in the 1 Million Cup projects, and started such a networking. The State of the Industry of the Month program in Hopkins County, and most recently a new conveyor belt sales and service facility, the Belt Tech LLC. Also, we're the first county to receive a $1 million grant for scattered housing, which will build about 10 homes in Hopkins County. 3 have already been completed and occupied. However, a direct negative result of the economy has been the reduction in our distribution of our coal severance monies. Several agencies did not receive the full funding by June 30th, 2014, and we're unsure of what the receipts will be this year. We have estimates, and they're only estimates. But most of our cities did receive monies out of the coal severance, and since 2007, January 2007, our cities have received $4.1 million excess of. As in the past year, I've solicited input from each county department, asking them to highlight their accomplishments and that past year, and I proudly share them with you. County Attorney Todd Papul's office says again received an Outstanding Performance Award for the 5th consecutive year for child support collection. It's also recovered over $100,000 for our local merchants and cold checks, and collected over $400,000 in delinquent taxes. Our GIS department, a young lady named Kim Ezel heads it up for us, and we moved it into the historical courthouse, and where she can be right across from planning and zoning and right next to the 911 central dispatch, so that they may work closer together. She's developed several things. One is a grid index for cemetery maps for Genealogical Society. Numerous other projects have built a map book for central dispatch, utilize and update the sheriff's office web-based crime map, keep citizens informed of criminal activity in their area. Our community development director, Mike Duncan, has been busy this year. He's worked on 41 new nuisance violations, successfully processed 26 of those, with 4 properties being demolished within the county. The jail crew's been joining him and helping out, and they've investigated 22 illegal dumping sites and assisted in moving those. He's also assisted in moving the juvenile justice into the historical courthouse, a branch of the state transportation departments there, the GIS office, central dispatch, and also is working with the library to move into their new facility. And he's been assisting with the architect and those things. He also helped in preparing the new public works building that we're occupying now, and also the Hopkins County Animal Shelter. The Public Works Department has a complete inventory of all our roads now matching the state and Pensacola area development. And Jeff Browning heads up that as our director. He's only been with the county 33 years, so he knows where every mailbox is in the county. And I think he's graded every road at least once or twice, and some of them are already gone since then. But we got into our new facility. We're proud of that, and we're having a lot of things going on. Now we're doing a lot more things at the facility. We're going to be utilizing inmates more at the facility also, and training them. Sanitation Department has recently received a recycling grant and recycle plastics, cardboards, and newspapers. Frank Reich heads up our emergency management department and has upgraded all the 10 weather sirens in the county with a new digital county radio system. And they continue to improve the communications and our communications vehicles. Deborah Steckler heads up our Hopkins County Clerk's Office. They've received an additional grant from the Department of Library and Archives, amount of $33,000 for shelving and preservation. 2013 legislative redistricting was successfully completed, and they successfully participated with the Secretary of State's office in designing, testing, and implementation of the new voter registration system now being used statewide. They recycle the Birdhouse license plate project, continues to benefit the Joseph Eddie Ballard Western Kentucky Veterans Center, with more than 10,000 being raised and distributed. And Frank Latham, the sheriff, has reported successfully acquired $15,900 in federal highway safety funds to assist in overtime traffic enforcement, and also over $90,000 in Homeland Security grants for our new communication system. Now we get into the long one. Mr. Joe Blue, Hopkins County Jail. They're into everything and anything, and if you don't know anything about it, come and see them. They've got, they have just acquired a concrete grinding and polishing machine. They're going to remove all the tile that's in there and regrind all the floors, seal them and all, so they won't have to do that again. They became the first correctional facility and trained deputies to teach this employee skill. Their training inmates is a major initiative. They long-awaited 1,800 square foot community service inmate instructional classroom is near completion, being constructed with inmate labor and materials purchased from commissary profits, with a donation of industrial sewing machines from Carhartt, They now have the capability to make and repair all their own mattresses, saving a cost of $30 each by using mattresses at hand, aided with a $600,000 budget grant from the Bureau of Justice to begin the Turning Point Reentry Program, where the Hopkins County residents being released in the community, professional personnel are made available to meet with them and help them when they reenter society. They're well known for its garden, and the jail utilized a $10,000 grant from Hopkins County Conservation District to purchase a high tunnel greenhouse, and that has just been completed, so they had to extend their growing season. And Mayor Sewell mentioned all the trails that was over at Penarol, and the jail crews cleaned all those trails so they could be utilized. So I know Jerry Duval was in charge of those inmates on that. So think back to what it must have looked like prior to 1806, when people maybe in Charleston, South Carolina or Baltimore decided, you know, let's leave the city life. And I've got a great idea, let's go into farming. And they came into western Kentucky. Farming was our biggest commodity back then. There wasn't any money as such, so it was a lot of bartering going on. And that's what happened. The great civilized era disappeared to these people, and they came in and endured the hardships. And in 1806, our county was founded, and in 1807, our city. So they came to build an opportunity to build. They had an opportunity to build a land, to build a life, and to be successful. And then, isn't it that really what we want to do? To ensure that the life and work in Hopkins County in the year to come is opportunity. Opportunity to get a good education, to earn a good living, to live in a safe and attractive community, to build a business, to be involved, to have available services and amenities for a well-rounded life, to be free to choose. One of the things we were sharing at a meeting this morning was that the ratio of Bachelor of Science degrees, and I think Hopkins County has like 10%. State has 17%, and state in the United States wide is about an average of 24%. So, you know, we need to be turning out more educated people so that we can attract more industry here. Our mission is to protect the public, to serve our citizens, and to create better opportunities, economic and otherwise, for individuals and families to improve the quality of life for our communities and to make a better future for our children. Big challenges, but I believe that through effective and strong leadership, through strategic partnerships, and through thoughtful and inclusive visions, we can and we will meet these challenges. In so doing, the lives of residents of Hopkins County will be greatly improved. Recently, I had the honor of cutting the ribbon at the Festus Claiborne Spray Park and being a commencement speaker for Daymar College. As I encouraged the college students to use the strong foundation they'd received to design and build their future, I shared one of my favorite quotes. It's by Nelson Henderson, and it says, "The true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you do not expect to sit." So I think that history is to build trees. And what I want to do is to challenge our true success as leaders that we measured in the legacy we leave. Personally, I'm hoping for a plentiful forest. Our future depends upon our ability to work together as one community, to tackle our challenges and seize new opportunities. As one community, we can grow our economy, achieve lasting financial stability. As one community, we can create a great place for our grandchildren's grandchildren when we'll be proud to call home. Together, we can keep the state of the county strong for every person and family for both now and the future. Thank you for coming and be a part of this partnership, and may God bless you in Hopkins County.